Carrie Sherburne, Senior Editor at What They Think, and I'm here with Anusha Askuian, who is the CEO and President of Ship and Shore Environmental, Inc. So, Anusha, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about the company?
It's a great pleasure to be here with you. And what our company does specializes in design, engineering, and manufacturing of pollution control systems, which are mostly related to VOCs and any emissions that may be coming off of any industrial facility of any size that are not allowed to go out to the atmosphere, and they have to be captured and controlled, and is usually governed by the rules and regulations in various counties, states, and naturally all around the country.
Yeah. So your folks sent us some information about your regenerative thermal oxidizers, RTOs, and especially as it relates to the flexographic industry. And I know from working in the industry that about 75% of flexographic operations use solvent-based, solvent wash plates. So there are VOCs available. So can you explain what RTOs are and how that relates to making the flexographic printing industry more sustainable and why it's important?
Yes, absolutely. RTOs, and as you fully stated the name, regenerative thermal oxidizers, are a system that is designed to capture not only all the VOCs and the emission from the solvent use within the printing industry, but destruct it and get rid of it, for lack of better words, in a much more efficient way, rather than just sending it through a regular thermal oxidizer. And in the olden days, decades ago, if people had to do emission removal, they always looked into thermal oxidizers or a recuperative that had a heat exchanger that caused a lot of other problems. And we came up with a very unique design that captures all the heat that has been generated as a result of the VOCs that go through the system, and it retains most of the heat inside through a special ceramic media. So a very small amount of heat has to be made up with the burner of the unit. And as a result, companies do not have to use natural gas, a lot of natural gas, just very small amount to just get the system started up and be able to disrupt all the emissions that is coming through the unit.
So it sort of neutralizes those emissions then? Am I understanding that correctly?
The word neutralizing is correct. However, it basically, through a process of combustion, uses the VOCs and the solvents that have very high heating value as a source to take it through the process. And on the other side, where the stack of the unit is, or the chimney, some people refer to it, you basically get clean air. And we have about 98%, and in occasions where they need 99%, we have 99% removal and destruction on our systems.
You said in your release that it optimizes the fuel consumption, and you just talked about that, reduces operational costs, and ensures continuous, efficient, and reliable printing operations. So is it, it's mostly in the plate making part of the process, right?
Well, part of it is plate making, and at the same time, nowadays with major innovation in the printing industry, the flexographic printing industry, all of the newer presses that have come to the marketplace basically utilize different types of solvents, and mainly in the printing industry, there are a few that is run and leaves an impression on the film that goes right through the press. And as they make all the print and have all the graphics artwork on the film that goes through the press, then on the other side, we have emissions coming off. And as the industry has grown over time, and the focus has become on much more artwork on a lot of the films and plastic bags and everything else that is utilized. Especially, I always refer to it, if people keep in mind when you go to your grocery stores, back then there may have been just a little bit of information on the bags saying lettuce or so and so. But now a lot of producers have amazing graphics and artwork on their packages. Naturally, the consumers are drawn to that. And as a result, the graphic and the work that goes on these bags have become one of the reasons that we are having, to deal with a lot more solvents and a lot more VOCs to be collected and go to our system.
It's interesting because there's a lot of regulations that are either in place or happening about this whole VOC thing, especially where you are in California.
Right.
And I'm just wondering when you're talking about this, do you talk to the printers or do you talk to the brands and retailers, or do you talk to all of them? Because the brands ultimately are going to have to report scope 3, right? They're going to have to report about their whole supply chain.
That's right. We most often, 95% of the time, we talk to the manufacturers and the flexographic industry producers that produce all of the bags for the end users. And a few times here and there that we have some of the companies that are the producers of the product that goes inside that are interested to know what happens to the products that they're receiving. And a lot of times, just because this is sustainable, environmental friendly, it has a lot of advantages in the overall process of this global focus on making sure that everything is conscientious, environmentally friendly. So that's basically what it is. We most often we do work with all of the producers of the plastic bags for whatever industry it is they're focused on.
Right. And so this is just an item that they add to their exhaust fans or whatever then.
It is a nice, good size piece of equipment that usually sits outside of their facility. And what we specialize in, we also do an assessment on the facility, on the production floor, to collect from the exhaust that is coming off of each one of the ducts that they have coming out on their roof. And we collect all of that and eventually take it all into our piece of equipment that most often 99% of the time is sitting on the outside. And it basically destructs it and provides clean air from the other side.
Okay, and where can people go to get more information?
Well, if people like to go to our website, which is shipandshore.com, SHIPANDSHORE.com. They're able to read about the technology, take a look at some of the applications, and we are continuously trying to have more innovation available such that the systems are more efficient, no natural gas consumption, in order to be cognizant of that. And we do have a lot of technical write-ups on our website. So if they were to go on the website, they're about to find a lot more information on it.
Okay, that's great, because I think that, first of all, they're probably starting to get a little bit of pressure from their customers, and also they're concerned about the environment. And so, they should take a look at this and see, your analysis will tell them what's going out into the air in terms of VOCs, and they can make the decision from there.
Absolutely. And one other, I have been involved with this industry for many years, over a couple of decades. And what we're also noticing is a lot of the, not only the consumers, but also the product producers, whether it be lettuce and orange bags or produce bags or bags that are made for nuts and things of that sort, a lot of folks are now much more interested to make sure that they buy from companies that are environmentally conscious, because it just helps with the overall process. Because of the demand, it has brought about a lot of growth in our industry, and a lot of producers are also very conscious about making sure that they're not polluting just by producing what they have to for their end users. And as far as the bags will go, nowadays there's just a lot more that is being produced for what we refer to as stand-up pouches. Like your coffee now comes in stand-up pouches. A lot of the products that used to be in a can now is in stand-up pouches. They're much more friendly as far as the usage of the bags will go. Grocery stores report that they're a lot easier to be able to leave it on the shelf. It takes a lot less space. And naturally, that also has the aftermath of making things much more efficient for the from A to Z.
Yeah, from A to Z. Well, that's great. So we'll look forward to following you guys as you get more installs in the flexographic industry. And I really appreciate you sharing with us today.
No, absolutely. This is great. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. As you mentioned, we are in California, where a lot of major rules and regulations and environmental rules are very tight. However, we're noticing it, as I am very involved with that side as well. A lot of other states are following the footsteps of what is going on in California. We do work in all the states, as well as Canada, down south, and a number of other locations. So we're happy to do what we can do.
Yeah, so outside of California, I mean, pretty soon everybody's going to be required to follow these regulations. So it's good to get a heads up and start planning now to be able to install something like this.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, thank you for the time and the opportunity, and look forward to staying connected.